Now, broadcasting live from WOYK's downtown York studios inside Wellspan Park, here's Gary Sutton.
And welcome back to the Gary Sutton Show, where it is 7:05. It is the 7th of February, 2025. I am Gary Sutton, and by the way, it is, I believe, 37 degrees here on Brooks Robinson Plaza out here at Wellspan Park, where they play baseball during the summer. Right now, you could skate on the rink. It's 33 degrees, actually. I said 37. I misspoke. I'm walking that back.
No, it's I got 34. Yeah, so
you got 34. So yeah, so we're close.
Yes,
I'm closer to the window. That's
that could be
what it's all about. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So anyway, great to have you in this morning here on the Gary Sutton Show on WOYK. Mark McKenzie with you. By the way, check out our webpage, our Facebook page rather, at Gary Sutton Show, and we have a couple questions for you today. We're going to keep you busy, and we'd like to keep you busy. By the way, like our webpage, if you will, or Gary Sutton Show, just like that each day. Make that a habit each day. Go in and read it, take part in our question, and then put a like on there. Helps to get us out there with the algorithms, right? That's what we try to do. So anyway, two questions today. The first one, and this is not a mirror on the wall question. This is just simply a checkpoint. And it goes like this. What is the best thing you like about the new Gary Sutton Show on WOYK, and what do you not like? Be kind on that second one, okay? We have feelings here. I very sensitive. I don't want to have extra counseling sessions. And so anyway, but no, in all seriousness, we do like to know what you like about the new show and what don't you like. And then the second question today is, what do you most watch the Super Bowl for each year? Do you watch it for actually the game? Do you watch it for the commercials? Do you watch it to see who the best commentator is? Do you watch it to see who the halftime show is? Whatever it is, and you can get on there. And you can also text us today. And if you want to get on the Capital Region golf card, text us at 833-478-4729. That's 833-478-4729. And you can just tell us you want to get picked for a Capital Region golf card at the end. But you can also tell us today about what you watch the Super Bowl for and what you like about our show and what you don't like about our show. You can get in there. We are brutally honest here. 833-478-4729. With that, we turn this morning to Eugene DePasquale, former Auditor General here in the state of Pennsylvania. He now is a teacher, I think at the University of Pittsburgh. I could be wrong on that. He'll correct me, I'm sure, if I am wrong. And he's been a friend for a long time. Good morning, Eugene. How you doing?
Good morning, Gary. Technically a professor and also teach a online class at your college for their graduate program.
Wow.
Well.
See, I knew I had it. A multitasker is what you are, right? It's multitasker.
That's right.
Great to have you in, my friend. So I don't know if you're like me. I can't keep up with the news every day of the new administration, but I wanted to ask you a couple things this morning that were kind of interesting to me. Number one, you're a guy, as Auditor General, who have to look at where money's being spent and how it's being spent and so forth. Is the DOGE attitude wrong, the idea of making the government more efficient, more accountable? Is the way they're doing it correct? I guess there's two questions there I have for you. Is the DOGE attitude wrong, the whole thing that Musk is going about, and they're axing out the bureaucracy and waste like crazy? Is the way they're doing it the correct way from your particular standpoint? What do you think?
So the first answer is there's absolutely nothing wrong with looking for waste. And some of the stuff that they are finding, I mean, as someone has spent 8 years doing that as Auditor General and loved every second of it,
right.
I'm not shocked. I mean, look, if somebody has not been under the hood of any large organization, let alone the federal government, for a long time, there's this tragically, maybe that's too dramatic. Unfortunately, that is the type of stuff that's going to happen. So that's another wrong. Now, I do think that my approach would have been to more empower the inspector generals that were already there, that were people that were approved, hired by, through a process by the president, approved by the Congress. And my personal opinion would be to empower that group to do that, because that's what they are there for. I get a little concerned when, again, because some of this stuff is like, oh, they're here, they're there. Right. Giving them the authority to go into this building, that building. That stuff I'm not thrilled about. But the actual act of doing it and the president working with the Congress to get under the hood of this, I think it's absolutely essential, and I think the beginning of a new administration is always the time to do that.
And it's interesting in a time and age, you and I have talked about this before, where people don't trust the institutions that have up till now done that. And now you have the disruptor kind of group coming in here that says, okay, we're not trusting them, we're going to go do it ourselves. So you have this taking a pickaxe to the whole governmental structure right now. And then you see things like this United States Agency for International Development, USAID, we've heard a lot about it this week, $1.5 million to advance diversity, equity, inclusion in Serbia's workplaces and business communities.
I'm laughing. It's not funny.
I know.
I'm laughing, but it's not funny.
$70,000 for a production of a DEI musical in Ireland. $2.5 million for electric vehicles in Vietnam when you have plenty of bicycles there. Let's see, $32,000 for a trans.
In case anyone's recording this and I ever run for anything,
I know,
but it's not funny.
I got you. For a transgender comic book in Peru, $2 million for sex changes and LGBT activism in Guatemala. $6 million to fund tourism in Egypt. Hey, they got the pyramids. Come on, don't we know that? I mean, we got the one about a new. What's the kids program somewhere that they're doing hundreds of thousands of meals that went to Al-Qaeda affiliated fighters in Syria? What could possibly go wrong with that?
Well, that seems like a really, really bad idea.
Funding to print personalized contraceptives, birth control devices in developing countries. To print personalized contraceptives. It goes on and on and on. I mean, the list is really long. But so we're seeing that, and people are saying, and they're putting it out there every day. And so people are saying, oh, my gosh. And here's the next question. This idea of Trump is putting this stuff out there, and Democrats end up kind of having to support it a little bit. You're seeing Democrats come out, everything Trump comes up with.
You don't see me out there supporting.
I know you don't, but I'm saying there are a number that are saying, you can't do this because it's Trump and everything else. Has Trump got them in a little bit of a trap right now where he's putting this stuff out there? What are your thoughts?
So I do think, first of all, I do think him being out there on everything is part of the strategy that you can't even keep up. I think that's part of the strategy.
It's called flood the market or something, or flood the workplace, whatever.
Flood the zone, right?
Flood the zone, that was it.
I think that's part of the strategy because, look, he is going by, and we've talked about this, and you and I think, are on the same page. We'd rather there be a bill in Congress than the executive order.
Agreed.
I said that with Biden, and I'm sure you feel that with Trump, even if you agree with the idea.
Right.
Because a new president comes in, they can just get rid of it through an executive order, and some of this stuff is going to go to the courts. Courts are going to say you can't do this. Now, having said that,
I've still got this crazy idea that separation of powers was a pretty good thing. So, and the checks and balances and all that.
It's worked for us for a while, and you may like Trump or you may not like Biden, whatever. Never give anyone too much power. That's, just call me old-fashioned on that.
Couldn't agree with you more.
Now, when it comes to some of the stuff where I jokingly, they jokingly call this the Trump derangement syndrome.
Right.
What I have advised my fellow Democrats, and I will tell you some of the areas where I agree and disagree, you should not chase your tail on everything he does because some of it is going to be good and some of it is going to be popular.
Right.
Pick your fights. For example, when they were looking to shut down the Medicaid stuff, and I know they walked that back, that to me as a Democrat, and I think just as an American, go full fight that one. That was a bad idea. When they're even trying to stop some of these alternative energy projects that are in the United States. Again, I say go after them on that one, fight them on that one. Stuff like that you're on the firm ground with, and it's actually a core position of the party. Go at them, win some, lose some, but go at them on that. Do not chase your. When I saw them having a rally before the USAID, I'm sitting around going, guys, you have no idea what they're spending that money on. That's a bad idea, and now they all have egg on their face because this stuff looks horrible.
Right. So what's happened here for a lot of people, and I don't know if Trump's this smart or not, President Trump, but the idea that you're for the government as it is, and I'm for the government as it will be, and I'm going to hit you with stuff every day on this, and the Democrats, because it's Trump, are saying, oh, you can't do this. It's Trump. It's bad.
Right.
And that didn't work well for this last election. It may have worked well the election before that and even before that, but not now. You need to come up with a new set of things to stand for instead of always kind of being on the defensive and fighting back. Am I wrong on that, Eugene?
No. Look, the first administration of Trump, and let's just call it like I said, I think he was completely disorganized.
I agree.
There was no in sync with the administration. He'd basically be up watching the cable news, yelling and screaming, tweeting away, and nothing would really ever happen except for a couple things. And I don't know if it's him, maybe it's him. I mean, obviously he's the president, but I think his staff is much more disciplined this time, much more focused. And I think that the Democrats need to wake up to that they are dealing with Trump 2.0, not Trump 1.0, and they need to pick their battles and not seem like, because, just like when Bill Clinton won in 1992 and Barack Obama won in 2008, people wanted change. Now, you may disagree with the change, and you can certainly, I'm not asking anyone to roll over, but you cannot seem like you are defending the status quo, because nobody wants the status quo right now.
Van Jones came out the other night on CNN and said Donald Trump is smarter than all of us. Do you think he is? I mean, and going to your point,
Gary, he got elected president twice and almost won a third time, and you and I haven't done that. And so I don't know how many people you know personally that have been elected president twice, but they're usually not idiots. Bill Clinton, Barack Obama, George Bush, say what you want. They won the toughest. Winning the presidency is the toughest competition in the world.
Yeah.
Trump did it twice and almost pulled it off a third time.
It's interesting, though, and you made a great point there, Eugene. I think that the first time he came in, I think he treated the government like it was just another business to be pushed aside, because that's what he was used to seeing. He hired a bunch of people that had been in the government. Of course, there was a lot of turnover, a lot of people writing books about him later on and all that. This time he comes in, they're ready to roll, and he's got disruptors galore with him and people who obviously have planned this out pretty well. You got the flood the zone kind of idea where we're going to throw so much at them every day they can't fight it back against it all. And it seems, at least in the early going, for the most part, to be working, although it's kind of like World War I. A lot of guys jumped on the barbed wire fence, but some got through. The judges are holding up some of the things, and yet at the same time, a lot of this stuff is going fast. And I think it's a real pivotal point in history right now in terms of how we're going to govern from here on out. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, so there's two things. One, on his first go-around, I don't think anybody, including he, thought he was going to win. So they were not ready to govern. And I'm not saying that to pick on him. I don't think he thought he was going to win the
I think it's a great point. Yeah.
This time around, I mean, when you read now back through the stories and even the Harris campaign and the Trump campaign, when they have their off-the-record discussions, even the Harris campaign actually knew they were behind. And I think that's, maybe us outside, even myself, we knew it was going to be close, but I don't think we knew as much as they knew as to both campaigns thought Trump was in the driver's seat the whole campaign. Certainly when Biden came out, Harris went in, it got closer. But so the reason I'm pointing to is that they were more ready to take office this time, which matters a lot because running the federal government is obviously a huge enterprise. And
I think he understood the government this time in a way he did not understand it at all the last time. I think you're absolutely right.
I've told people, again, friend or foe, I'm not sure he ever really paid attention to the details until after he lost.
No.
And that time after he lost until he left office, I think he actually learned more about what powers the presidency had during that 2-month period than he did during the previous 4 years. And I think he's now utilizing what he learned in that 2-month period, and he's deploying that now.
Eugene, I always appreciate the analysis, my friend. Thank you for taking time to be with us this morning. Looking forward to catching up to you next week, okay?
Hey, you got it, Gary. Have a great weekend.
Thanks, buddy. You too. Take care. Eugene DePasquale with us here this morning with a pretty good analysis of what's going on there as far as the government as we break it down. Remember, we have conversation and examination. That's what we try to do here on this show.